Hey, you guys. Today I want to talk a little bit about the layers of learning and how to progress through the body in a more efficient manner. I was having this conversation earlier in the day with a couple of guys in jiu-jitsu, and this is usually how these YouTube videos end up happening. Is they're spurred by questions that I'm asked, and I mentioned the word containment to somebody, and he was like, "Well, what does containment in your body mean?" Which is such a good question. And I'd actually never been asked it before. So it gave me an opportunity to think about what I know about the body and how I work with people or with groups of people on building a better foundation for their body. So most people, when they start yoga, they come in and they have very little body awareness. Most people just have very little body awareness in general. So they come in and it's got to start out pretty basic and pretty simple, just getting them to recognize larger muscle groups or how it feels when they move their body and when they do specific postures or specific styles of breathing. And the language needs to be a little bit simpler, and there needs to be more demonstration for them to see. And then as you start to go further and further along in a practice, what happens is you get deeper and deeper into the layers of your body. And instead of just working on a very gross or obvious level, then you start to work a little bit more into the fascia and into the tendons and into the ligaments and into the nervous system, and then into the neural pathways of how things are functioning. And you start to learn and isolate, or learn how to isolate and control your muscles optimally. So you can turn on specific muscles and you can turn off specific muscles, and you can get them to work together, or you can get them to work separately. But that can take a long time if you don't do a very intentional practice. If you do a practice that's just like a constant vinyasa practice. I'm just going to shit talk a little bit here. Unless you're being asked a lot of questions about your body and really well informed about your body, then the process of unlayering and understanding is going to take a much longer time. So once you've broken down those layers from the obvious to the much more subtle aspects of how you personally, as an individual, move and function in space, then you can find this foundation for yourself. And these foundations, or this foundation that you have, then allows you to explore a more fluid style of practice, because you have this foundation, this structure to return to, this set rules of alignment that really work for your body and keep you out of pain. So if you ever get in pain when you're exploring movement or doing a more fluid practice, you can come back to that foundation and find stabilization. So what containment ends up looking like in your body is that you don't use momentum to come out of a posture or a movement. You use control to come out of a posture or a movement. Momentum's really easy to use, and it's probably a bit more habitual for most people, and goes hand in hand, I would say, with the level of awareness that you have over your body. If you're moving strictly off of momentum, the awareness of how you can move and manipulate your body isn't really there. So ideally, and I find this with jiu-jitsu as well, or anything you kind of learn about your body, is you have to break down the layers, and you have to be really well informed and well educated on why things happen, theory behind why things are happening, and have teachers and have coaches that can progress with you on that. So when you do a yoga practice, think about the level of awareness that you have over your body and notice how that starts to change and develop over time. And that's the reason that WTF yoga practices are designed the way that they are, to be very specific, I try to speak really slowly so that you can work through some of the habits that might be going on, whether physical or neurological, to determine where you're at in your body, in your mind, or in your brain, and in your practice. So think about that. Think about that idea of containment. And the next time that you do a yoga practice, just kind of notice and be honest about your level of presence, your level of awareness about your own body, and then apply it. And the more honest you are, the sooner that you can progress forward. So if you have sciatic pain and someone says, go do yoga, and you go and you just start a generalized yoga practice, and say you do vinyasa yoga class, and there's times where it agitates your sciatica a lot, or there's times where it doesn't agitate your sciatica at all, or you go and you do a really intentional practice and you sit in the poses and you feel them and you breathe specifically, not specifically, but you're conscious about your breathing, the amount of time that your body's going to recover from an injury or from sciatica or from whatever it is you're trying to address is going to be drastically less than if you go in without the knowledge and without the understanding of what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish in your body. I'm all about efficiency, so doing movements that are going to accomplish a goal faster without potentially causing more damage in the scheme of that goal being accomplished is the best way to get things done. So think about that. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. Hope you guys have a good day. See you next time.